What's up, party animals? My name is Kezi. I wanted to challenge myself today. I woke up and I'm just like, not feeling like I'm doing enough. And I realized that I'm doing tons. You know, I'm playing around on my synthesizers, I'm using the Force, I'm doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but I'm not finishing anything. And I think today I wanted to try and see if I can get something finished in a day. I have a few tracks on my old laptop. Well, it's not that old, but like, I have a few tracks that I kind of left behind on my laptop. And I thought, well, let's see if we can pull some of those together and get one of them done. So before we do that, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna run to the store, get me some fresh air so I don't feel too bad about staying inside all day. And then let's make some beats. Also, do you like my hat? It's for a friend, but I gotta use it for now. All right, so I've got the studio all set up. I just transferred the files over from the laptop to my PC, got all the updates, everything seems to be working. I did make a few edits. This is actually 2 tracks I had together, and decided to merge them into one because they actually had, together, they both had a running theme through them. Now, the real part of this video that I really wanted to get into was about mental health and how much of a struggle it is, especially now. So when I made these tracks, or when I started these, I was in a very, very low space. I was just unwell. It's an understatement to put it that way, but I felt implored to try to take that pain and turn it into music. And I feel like that's really where the running thread between these two actually have some hold, is in that despair and in that hatred that I felt during that time. Now things are over, but I'm still trying to recover. And I think one of the most important things is letting yourself recover is extremely hard. You know, when I was setting this video up just a bit ago, I lost one of the things I put on under my fursuit so that I can actually wear it without getting my hair caught up and everything. And I think I spent an hour overturning the house just focusing on this one little thing. It's tiny. I literally have more of them. I just wanted the one that I use specifically for my fursuit. And so I got all stuck on that, and I didn't allow myself to move on and realize it's gone. It's over. There's no reason to keep searching when you've done everything that you can. And I'm not just talking about that fursuit headband. Yeah, that's kind of my rambling backstory on it. So, anyway, don't trust a dog on the internet with mental advice, but this is something that's been working for me, and I feel like I want to share you the music that came out of it. So, talking about the music here, I have a GoPro filming it. I really hope this works out. It might actually be ugly as sin, but I wanted to grab a bit of, you know, what I'm doing down here as well, which might not be a lot, but who knows. So first, I'm going to show you guys what I started with. So the original sound here is going to be this wub. And this was something, I called the track, it was called Behind You. And I feel like this is it. So it's this just really, really gritty, really, really just like, it just sounds like heavy breathing. And then at the end, you just get this like wah, and it's just like that, like, uh-oh, it almost instills fear. And that little quip at the end really encapsulated a lot of how I felt. And so putting that in there and putting that in this grand song, because the other part of this is that the main song is actually, the wubs is more of the fear and scaredness I was feeling, whereas the more bassy, more, I would almost say it's dancey, beat is the anger that I was feeling. So I'll go ahead and show you the angry part now. And I've chopped this up a little bit. So it actually used to be at like 120 something BPM. I cranked it up to 140 and then halved it so that, and then messed with a few of the, I can't remember the name of the things when you do them at different time rates. That thing. Anyway, so I messed with that a little bit, and I thought that it sounded cool when it was at this 140 BPM, because that's the BPM of the little scary part. So I changed this up, added a lot of backing track to it, added a lot of kicks and not kicks, but drum samples, and just kind of groovy bits. So here, take a listen. Oops. So it's got this like really interesting, really kind of like, it's got a lot of wubbiness to it. It's got a lot of grit, which is something I really wanted out of this sound. One of the things I'm super not well versed in is making kind of dubsteppy, rhythmy, complextro, whatever you want to call it. I'm bad at it. And I like the idea here. I like working with a couple different wub things that they seem to actually sound quite well together. So I really like where this is going already. So let's go ahead and take it a step further. Oh gosh, trying to record this and doing like fursuiting stuff is really hard. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this all together a little bit, and then come back to this, give it a little bit more work, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I've been working on this beat for probably the better part of an hour, and I've decided that I like where it's at, and I'm gonna call it quits. Now, it's not giving up. I'm actually deciding this is finished. The way it is, this is what I want to share. In every bit of its improvements that it could use, I want it to be done here. I could be crafting this forever and hours. I could tweak every single little everything. But in the end, it just needs to be done. And that was the goal for this, was to get something done. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I've made something that actually slaps pretty hard. It's not the best thing I've ever made. I'm not the best at dubstep, which is why I didn't really want to make some grandiose thing either. Get something that kind of sounds good and kind of work from there. One of the things you'll notice throughout is that Splice is my best friend. I have so many samples just from the Splice that I downloaded specifically for this project. And I've got, I added this next synth, and I really like what this one does because it's actually quite a wacky signal chain. So it has one of them, and it's that main plucky synth that you heard at the beginning. So you can hear it here. And it's got added sub bass, and it's also got this interesting signal chain that goes through the higher notes. And it's actually doing a weird kind of, it has a delay effect that's kind of pumping in and out, and then the delay effect itself is pumping with the beat. So by itself, it sounds like this. So it adds this really, really nice delay that's just delicately morphing throughout the whole drop. And another thing is I added like a lot of noise that was also pumping with the beat. And then the actual beat itself contains just this crazy amalgamation of different sounds that I put together to try to get a really nice, just dubstep drums kind of vibe. Versus like over here where it's just the kick and the snare thing. And actually the snare thing is even cooler because what I have it doing is I have it on a instrument rack by itself, and it actually throws its MIDI through a randomizer, which then goes through another signal chain that picks which random note, shuffles through that, and then plays that sample. So I have a few different samples of hi-hat fills, and I have it kind of just picking them at random to kind of allow the sound to flow a bit more unexpectedly while still retaining that kind of expectation of when you're gonna hear it. And there's even a third randomizer that'll actually just pick none of those options at all, and it just won't play for that bar. So I feel like it sounds really nice and gives it a lot of dynamics that it didn't already have just by itself. So without further stalling, let's give it a listen. And there you have it. Obviously, it could use a lot better mixing, a lot better mastering, or really any mixing or mastering at all. This is a very low effort attempt. Like I said, you know, I can put a ton of effort into this, but the end goal here wasn't effort. It's that finishing part. And I feel like that's important to really getting anywhere. It's been so long since I've actually, you know, sat down and said this is finished. And I think this will be a spark for getting more things finished later. And one thing I wanted to mention with all my music, it's all free. I have a Bandcamp where I upload albums once I actually complete them. But on my SoundCloud, I just have them free to download, and if the free download buttons disappeared or something, like you have SoundCloud, I think, probably has a problem with it, but I don't really care if you rip it off of YouTube, SoundCloud, anywhere really. My music's your music. It is, I make this to share. I don't make this because it's my music and I want me. So, I appreciate you for spending the time to watch this, to spending the time with me. Hopefully this gets you thinking about, what it really means to complete something, to get over something. Because it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty. But when something needs to get done, just because it isn't perfect and it isn't pretty doesn't mean that you don't do it. And that's really what I want the takeaway from this video to be. Hopefully it didn't end up being too long. I really thank you so much for sticking with me till the very end. And I guess until next time, thanks so much for watching. Bye bye!